Welcome back to Satisfactory. My name is Joel Duggan. If you're just tuning in, we are dropping into the Satisfactory portion of today's stream, picking up where we left off yesterday, fixing the quartz factory. And I actually turned on aluminum as well. We have other things to look at and other things to build, so we'll have to figure out what's next. Run some numbers, maybe fix some trains. Trains are functioning, but they're not functioning efficiently. And if I could shake my fist virtually, I would. But we're still learning a few things about trains. Throughput is tricky. If you're new to this Satisfactory playthrough, we are building these factories and designing them after 1980s Transformers. And the big one is Devastator. That's the green and the purple. It was started a long time ago before all the very cool new parts are in, so there's going to be a lot more purple and a lot less of the default foundations. I really like concrete, and we're going to work a lot more with concrete, I think, with Devastator. So the last time we were doing stuff, the bauxite train, which is that purple one, and the bone crusher train were not running. They are now running. Bone crusher comes in here, deposits the quartz in that station right there, and actually that's what we're going to do. We're going to go down and take a look. So it's temporarily hooked up. There's no buffer. It's just straight up output because we need 600. 600 should all that comes in because, sorry, 1200, because here in the western slopes where we've got the quartz hooked up, we're doing 2 mines at 600, 1200 total, and that's coming in 2 belts. Now these are both 780 belts, but it's still only delivering the right amount. So you can see it's got a bit of a stutter here, and that's because we're not producing enough down the line. So these are the quartz lines here above me. So we'll follow these. It moves at a pretty good clip, but it obviously stutters a bit. So this goes all the way down. We get gaps in our bauxite too. I don't know why. Probably the lack of buffer would be my guess. So the quartz stops here and goes underneath and inside. In here, it drops down to the floor below where we set all this up yesterday. So everything is flowing in. It gets sorted down the line. Everything is being fed upstairs into the machines. It's all cleanly powered. So you can see everything is all sorted there. And we saved ourselves a foundation of space. With the exception of these. I have to figure out if I'm going to keep those in that position or whether we're going to do something different visually. And what's nice about this is that the silica that's being produced is right there, flying upstairs. There's 2 belts, both going up that way, and they're both heading over to the production of aluminum. I was surprised that we were not making enough silica on our own in aluminum, and we needed to top it up with this, so we might have to run some numbers today to figure out why I'm even doing this, but we'll figure that out later. Everything's been painted. All the machines are now white because they're producing silica. I thought that was a nice touch. The only thing that's not kind of like final are these towers, because what's happening here is it's going upstairs, and all that it is the overflow. So if I go downstairs, so here we've got the overflow going to the left. This. So basically anything that these don't need are being overflowed this way. And I would say probably on a belt that's too slow. So we will take a look at that. They go upstairs. It joins the other overflow. So this overflow just kind of combines and sends over to here. So then everything is going upstairs. And that is getting fed into this, I'm assuming, temporary setup that I did from months and months and months ago, where we're making some underclocked quartz crystal. And all of this is being currently fed into a bin, but once this fills up, it's going to start to overflow again. So overflow on the right, and this will go all the way around. It'll go, I must have done this very quickly months ago, and this goes down here, around the corner, through along here. I mean, it's so just from the cuff. I obviously just meant this to be a quick way for us to get crystal oscillators on the go. So this comes up here, goes in there, and will eventually feed into these machines for crystal oscillators. That's where we are. But out here, we've bypassed a bunch of other stuff. We're not making some very basic things beyond just my own inventory, and so we don't have a real foundation factory set up. So I'd like to try and work on that as well. So yeah, the quartz stuff is definitely on the temporary side. Do I have quartz in my inventory that I could just... Yeah, I could probably just force this to top up, right? And now it should start to flow that way. Yep. So all that's going to go over to the other machines. So I guess the first thing I should do is backtrack just a couple of these things. I just figured how much we're actually using and how much is overflow. So each of these is at 35 per minute. My spreadsheet, which we can now change because the belt error is now fixed. So this is raw quartz going in at 1200 per minute. And that goes into 40 constructors. And then on the other side of that, I do like to keep things organized. Out of curiosity, would people prefer to see the spreadsheet like full screen as opposed to like kind of overlaid over the game? Is that helpful, or is it better to have like a little bit of the game going on in the background so you kind of know what's going on? So we know that we're getting 35 silica, so 35 times 40 is 1400. We know that 21 times 40 is 840. So 1200 minus 840. This might be a little bit small for people to see. It's 360. So 360 is what's being sent upstairs in that overflow. So what I like to do in these situations is just add some space. And we'll go $360. So we know we've got 360 coming off here. I might even just move this down a bit. Oh, that's going to be a problem. Or is it? No, that should be fine. Because then we can change this to what it really is, which is 840. . Trying to find my shocked face that you're keeping things organized. Yeah, I could see how that can be a little bit surprising. The sarcasm is real. I'm not sure what is going on here. I guess it's the shadow from the railing. The graphics are a little bit messed up for me, and I don't know what to do to change it. All right, so we have the 780 belt because this is carrying 600. And it's being split. That's a Mark IV. Mark IVs carry, I used to have this memorized, 480. So we're doing 480 all the way down here, 480 all the way up there, but really what it is 300. We are splitting off here, and that is an overflow half of 360, right? Because the other overflow is over here. So half of 360. Also, this is not doing anything at all. Ah. Overflow. None. Left. Raw quartz. So that one actually wasn't set up. I had a mistake there. So we're going to, so that could have been the bottleneck, like that could have been part of the problem as why things weren't flowing right. These are all normal lifts, but if we've got 360, half of that is 180. So that's not a fast enough belt. That's only doing 120. So we need this to be Mark III, Mark III. And that would also mean that this has to be a Mark III, and that has to be a Mark III. Mark III. Mark III. And now I need the belts to be Mark III. Right. So there's Mark III. All through there. Now upstairs is still not Mark III, so that's why it's still slow. Make sure this is set up right. Center is overflow. Center is overflow. Okay. So then we switch these to the Mark IIIs. The radial menu was one of the best things that they did to change this game. One of the best additions. So Mark III, 3, 3, 3. And that means we're back up to 360. So this has to be a Mark IV. Oh, that doesn't need to be there. This is a Mark IV. It should be a Mark III. Upgrade to Mark III. Mark III. That's going to stay a Mark IV. Now, why is that there? Of course, this thing is sealed. I can't see inside of it. Okay, sure. Yep, I see. So that is a Mark II belt. Incorrect. These all have to be Mark IIIs. And then this is going to be a Mark V, I think. No, 360 total. So this is a Mark IV. That has to be a Mark IV. That already is a Mark IV. Is this lift a Mark IV? It is. That's a Mark IV. That's a Mark IV belt. That's Mark IV all the way down. Alright, so we know that we're supposed to be bringing 360 up here. These are underclocked to 21.6. There is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 of those. So that's not enough. I don't know why they're underclocked. That's why it's slow. It's because those aren't making enough. If they were to make normal amounts, it would be 22.5, but that's still not 360. Yeah, I don't know what my math was on these before and why it was at that rate. So that's why the quartz isn't flowing, is because there's this bottleneck here. We're making crystals, but we're just... There's more quartz coming up here than there is machines to handle it. So that's what's happening there. At least it's all correct below for the right overflow. I just have to figure out what we're going to do for crystal in the future. But you can see it's moving over here. I don't know what past Joel had done, Cosmic. I have no idea. So these are humming. It's good. Are all of you on? Just the first 4, I think. Cool. Looks good. So what's happening with these is that they're just getting pulled out of the back of these machines. We are eventually going to be making a lot more of these. These are coming down here, and they're just getting stored until they are full, and then they get sent to the Awesome Sink, which I believe is powered. Yeah. That's what's happening here. That's running, and it should have enough of everything to just kind of like slowly work away in the background. So we're never going to run out of crystal oscillators, which is good because they are components that we need for bigger, more complicated machines. But yeah, so that's why we get the stutter on the belt, is because of the bottleneck on that top floor. It's the same thing here with the copper, because the aluminum is not flowing normally, because the aluminum we actually have to manually flush these fluid buffers. I've got to find a recipe that I can just use this water and get rid of it, because this stuff basically backs up and ends our production. So we still have some manual things that are not good on the aluminum line. Trying to reincorporate your water back into your system does not work as far as I can tell, so we have to flush it. So what I do have is a concrete recipe. So yeah. What's it called? Does not say what it's called. This is alternate recipe 3. I thought it gave me a name for it. Maybe not. Weird. Anyway, it's 100 water per minute. I don't know how much we are putting out here. These 2 pipes connect over here. They connect to these machines. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's an odd number. And they're putting out 120. So we are putting out a ton of water. $840. That's a lot of concrete. That's a lot of concrete. So the idea would be that we could just make the concrete and sink it, and then this would be flowing constantly and working very, very well. But the cool thing about the aluminum factory, which is this part right here, I really like. When they're all working, that to me looks really fun. It's a fun design. But we're making so much silica here, I'm so surprised that I need to make yet more silica and bring it along these belts, right? Like, there's just so much silica involved in aluminum. But like each individual machine needs 75 per minute. Anyway, so that's all at least moving. We're not at a point where it's 100% because I think really what's happened is like the bottlenecks that I've got happening. Ooh, that's a glass window. The bottlenecks that I have happening are because I tried to get to more complicated parts than I was ready to at this factory in order to build Megatron to unlock the power ceiling. Now that we've got power everywhere, we can do whatever we want. And so that's going to be helpful. Including all of the iron that we're currently not doing anything with. So we need to figure out what the next steps are. And I guess we need to figure out how many of certain parts we're going to need or want. The big thing I think is the modular frames. Heavy modular frames seem to be a bit of a beast. So we're not yet doing steel here. We're not yet making screws, and we're not yet making modular frames. So I think I'm going to actually take a short trip up to my older factory to figure out how many modular frames we're building, and just take a look at like what these things are used in. So like if we find these, it gives you how to make them, and we could do encased steel beams. Like we could use, what does that save us? Oh no, we have to use rubber for that. Never mind. Yeah, that's a simpler recipe. Don't want to do rubber. And we haven't unlocked all the alternative recipes yet, so there's a few things that we could end up working on that could unlock over time. Yeah, we want to go back to the OG factory. I think I'm only making two. I think it's only 2 manufacturers doing heavy modular frames. And I don't think I need to bring anything back with me because I think we've got them all in the train. Yeah, the construction train is right here. So one of these lovely boxes is full of heavy modular frames. I want to say it's this black one. Almost full, but close enough. So we'll take the buggy just because I don't think a train is going to get us there fast enough. I guess I could take just a locomotive as far as Bone Crusher, but this will be easier. Thanks. Yeah, the infrastructure is coming along. I'm really looking forward to tightening all this up and making it look a lot better. Actually, I can show you on the Satisfactory website. I loaded up my save into the interactive map just so we could see kind of like the trains and stuff. So you can kind of see how, without knowing the map early on, I made this mistake of going the very long way around my network. So here's the hub that we built, the little roundabout we built last week. And here's the main line going into Devastator. And so it would be way better to have a line that would come down right through here, right? And there is room to do that now that we're going up high. And then I think I'm going to move this out here and make it more permanent, like make it larger and have a lot more going on. And then I'm going to try to run a main train line. You can see the little pink curves here. I'm going to run a train line straight down this way. I think I'm going to try to go underneath the waterfall and then curve into the roundabout. And then we'll branch off in the different directions we need to go from there. So that's kind of the plan. But that will eliminate the thing that I'm driving on. It will eliminate the thing that we're looking at, the temporary exchange. I will probably keep this stuff, like once you get down to this level, depending on how the different departments, kind of like the different collection stations work out, we'll probably keep this just because it makes an easy way to drive back and forth to the main factory, or the starter factory, I guess I should say. Mario Kart and Satisfactory. I've seen people make racetracks and stuff. Not sure what's going on. My frame rate is abysmal today. Buggy mode activate. Yeah, they're fun. They're very, very fun. I want to get a train out this way too. So that's something we could end up doing today, is a bit of train building too. But really, I want to kind of figure out where I can get the what the target rate is for modular frames. I might have to look up some stuff in the wiki. So this is the original starter factory, which I haven't been on stream yet this year, I don't think. I've not been spending much time up here. This is where we decided to start. It was not the best idea, but everything is so close together, and every building is producing different things. And, but the heavy modular frames are upstairs this way. This is the room where they're being built, and they are obviously full. So we're only doing 2 manufacturers. But I remember we had to do a lot of screws for these, hence all the screws being made over there. Yeah, that's the extra screws. And there's the heavy modular frame box there. Yeah, so I've got kind of stuff scattered all over the map. We do have them, it's just sometimes a pain in the butt to go get them when you run out. So to give people a bit of a bearing, here's where we are in the factory. And I should probably actually put down a marker. Where's a good spot? Where's like the heart of this place? I would say about here. We're making computers and circuit boards and stuff. I'd say this is probably a pretty good spot. So we'll grab a new marker. I'll put it down right where I'm standing. Factory. Make it a large icon bar. Select the color. Do I have like a dark green? Don't have a forest green. Let's go with northern forest green. Apply. Nice. By the player. And this is the early factory. So it's basically just making all the parts that we need to progress through the game to where we are now. Thankfully, it's on the main grid, so we're getting all the power that we have from Megatron, and we're still only way down here. Even at max consumption, we're only up here. Yeah, never enough screws. We have a new recipe for screws now. We don't need rods. We can go straight from ingots to screws. So it's super, super good. That guy's not moving. That's not good. How come you're not doing your thing? Do you have fuel? Yeah. There we go. Oh. I guess he's just full. We're probably not making enough stuff. That's fine. This place is a real mess. It's all functioning, it's all balanced out, but it's just, there's just belts everywhere. This was before I decided to theme the world after Transformers. This was just early. But what I want to do for, I guess, state of the game, I see this canyon across the map here. I want to bring the train down this canyon and then eventually get it up here so that I can load it with things and take it back to Devastator. So that's one of the train goals that we've got. So the heavy modular frames, I had two. Was it one manufacturer? Two? I think it was just the one. Nope, two. Making two. This is circuit boards, I want to say. Yep. And then this is computers at the top. And the computers are probably full. Circuit boards are full. Where do the computers go? Computers go here. Computers are full. Sheeting is full. Spare screws are being stored. They're full. Cables full. Yeah, there's just tons of stuff. So we're not going to run out of materials, which is good. So that's why I didn't destroy this factory, is because it's kind of like filling our pockets in the background. Makes sense to connect this to the train network. It's just a big project. Yeah, that's the rub, right? That's the issue. I was wondering if we had any hard drives here, but I'm sure I probably brought them all to the new spot. So one of the things that we can do is look at the space elevator parts and find out what's next. And that might help me gauge how much of these things I want to actually build. Oh, there's a hypertube. I guess I could have taken that. So this is how we send parts to the Fix-It Corporation and how you progress in the game. And we are at a very late stage in it. So supercomputers, batteries, that's all gets into nuclear stuff, and we don't even know how to make those yet. So supercomputer and adaptive something. Adaptive control unit. They need automated wiring, circuit boards. There's the heavy modular frames and computers. And it makes two. So two modular frames. And these need two, so that's 4 modular frames, I think. No, 2 to 2. We need 4,000 of them. So let's do, so it's 2,000 minutes. It's 33 hours. Let's go. 4,000 divided by 12. 333. 333 times 60 is 19 hours. But yeah, you want quite a lot of heavy modular frames. Basically what I'm thinking of is like, how many modular frames do I need to make so that this doesn't take crazy long, right? So an adaptive control unit needs produces 1 per minute. What? Oh, it produces 1 per minute. So it needs 1 per minute. Weird how they list that. So it takes 2 heavy modular frames and makes 1 per minute. So why does it have output 2? I guess it takes 2 minutes to make 2, I guess. Yeah, that would make sense. Cycle time, 120 seconds. There it is right there. Can you change these? Oh, you can. So if I wanted to make 12, that's cool. It gives you all the numbers. Can I not do 12? No. That's just per machine, I guess, not per network. Because you can't overclock anything more than 250%. So if I wanted to make 12 adaptive control units, I would need 12 modular frames. And then 12 modular frames, you would need like all of these things multiplied, 1,200 screws. No, 600 screws, because you're looking at 2 per minute. The manufacture time is 30 seconds. Right. Okay. So if we're going to need... I don't know why 12 was the number that I chose. $4,000. And adaptive control units are 1-to-1. And this is the vanilla recipe. We could end up finding a different one, but based on this, it's 1-to-1. There's 1 per minute. This requires... What is this even called? Assembly director system. 1.5 per minute. I would probably reduce this to 50 to 0.5 and get like 1 per minute for easy machine math. So Cosmic says, wow, yeah, this really moves into the complex stuff. Oh yeah, once you hit tier 7, it just kind of goes spaghetti everywhere. Like it's really, really deep. I'm just trying to think about what would be a good production rate for the adaptive control unit, so making these doesn't take like a crazy amount of time, right? Because we need 4,000. If we're only making roughly 1 per minute, I don't want to do like 4,000, whatever that is in hours, right? 4,000 divided by 60. So 4,000 per minute. It's divided by 60. Right, is 4,000 times? No, how does that work? We need 4,000. We're only making 1 per minute. So it's 4,000 minutes. Yeah, so 4,000 minutes divided by 60 is 66 hours. So I want this number to be a lot lower. And so we just need to figure out a good rate. So like, 2000 is 33, 1000 is 16 hours. That seems pretty good, or 1200, right? If we want that to be 1200, then 20 hours. That seems fine. That can happen in the background. Because I can play this game for 20 hours, no sweat. So let's say we need to get, I guess it's now 4,000, 12,000 divided by 4,000, or 1,200 divided by 4,000. So it's 30%. So we'd have to increase by 70%. So if I need adaptive control units, I'm only making 1 per minute. So I just need to increase that to the right number. $20-hour stream coming up. Yeah, probably not. So if we do, we need to reduce 1,200 over. Yeah, that's like a third. So speed things up by like 160%. Trying to think about those numbers. Adaptive control units. So if we were making 12 per minute, that means that we would also be making 12 of these per minute. Right? I mean, I'm rounding up just for easy math because assembly director. Yeah, I mean, we could overclock these machines and then have them do 2 per minute, or we could underclock them and have them do 1 per minute. But it's 1.5 to 75, so it's half the rate. So if we want enough of these that it only takes 20 hours to complete the goal, then we just have to work backwards from there. So I wish we could have the calculator and that open at the same time. So we've got 20 hours times 60 is 1,200 minutes. So, and we need to make 1,200 times 3.3. Yeah. So we really that doesn't make any sense. We only have to make 3 manufacturers, or 3 per minute. I might be doing the math wrong. Right, so if we make 3 of these per minute, it'll take 6 adaptive control units per minute, but 3 of those per minute, and that's just 4,000 divided by 3, right? 4,000 divided by 3 per minute equals the number of minutes, 1,300 minutes. 13 and 33 repeating. So 1,300 minutes divided by 60 is 22 hours. Yeah, okay. So we just have to figure out if we do, let's just do 4 per minute for easy math. So if I need 4 assembly directors, that means I need 8 adaptive control units. Yeah, so we need 8 adaptive control units per minute, and adaptive control units are 1-to-1, so we need 8 heavy modular frames. Assuming that I don't need heavy modular frames for other things, which is probably a big assumption. Hold on. What if I bring up the website? I'll look at the wiki is good for this. This is something I like about the wiki, is that we can look ahead at what they're used for. So heavy modular frame. So obtaining, crafting, usage, research, all that kind of stuff. So I don't care about obtaining and crafting. I want to know what they're used for. Crafting. So adaptive control unit, we know that. They're used in this too. And I know fused modular frames are a pain in the butt. So fused modular frames. They're used in blenders. We can always siphon off stuff for our own inventory. It's more about the project parts that I'm worried about. It looks like it's just the 2. So if we're making 8 for that, and fused modular frame is a 1-to-1 ratio as well, we're probably going to need roughly the 4,000. So we could either redirect the 8, or we could have 16. 8 or 16. That seems reasonable. All right, so that gives me the target. And the reason why I'm focusing on the heavy modular frame is because they are steel and iron construction. Steel and iron construction. So that seems to be where our current Devastator situation is lacking. Oh, are we not powered? Oh, you're an exit only. Okay. Obviously, the trees have grown up through the factory. Sorry for all the math, but I feel like sometimes it's good to share that stuff, because otherwise people that are new to the game have no idea how players are arriving at other specific situations in terms of like their plans and their factories and stuff. That's why I like sharing the spreadsheet. Oh, there's a tree there. So we haven't really done anything yet this stream, other than just walk around and think. But basically, from knowing we need a minimum of 8 heavy modular frames, we can backtrack and kind of figure out all the other parts that we need. Thinking is doing, that's fair. As soon as you hit the incline, you start to go slow. It's too bad. Apparently in update 8, when they get around to fixing the engine, it fixes the wheel glitch. You know, the weird bouncing and hitching that you have driving on foundations. Otherwise, I'd put roads everywhere in the world. It would be great. But it's so much faster and easier to drive on the dirt. with this guy. Take him out at the knees. Stream time is at 1 hour. Really? Wow. Well, we'll jump on a little bit of a break train. And now we know what to do. 8. The number is 8 or 16. We'll look at both of those and figure out what's next. I also remembered how to stop, which is handy. I'll just build a break train, because I can do that. No, other way around. Green. So let's definitely make sure we do the right stations. Megatron. And we'll go Western Slopes, I think is the farthest. Actually, let's go Scavenger. Scavenger Station, Mixed Master Station, Construction, Bone Crusher, Scavenger. Savannah Scavenger, that's the one. Save changes. Turn on self-driving. Alright, folks, I take a break once an hour. You get to ride the train. I'm going to refresh my drink. And we'll be back in 5 or 6 minutes. Alright. I'm going to turn off the self-driving here. And we're going to go this way. Nope. I didn't want to come all the way over here. Wanted to catch it before I went all the way back to Megatron. Now we're stuck out here. Oh, there's a buggy down here, I think. Somewhere. Saw a little buggy. Yes. Just dismantle the train and turn it around? Yeah. I was going to build it again, and then I remembered the buggy. Not Damien has followed. Thanks for the follow. You think you're moving fast until a train drives by. And you're like, wait a minute. That's the way to travel. So we know we're looking at either 8 or 16, and we'll crunch those numbers and see what that's going to get us. The good news is we've got lots of iron and a very easy way to make screws. Screws are notoriously a pain in the butt in the game with only the original recipe because you have to turn rods, you have to turn ingots into rods and then rods into screws. But we have a recipe that will allow us to do ingots directly to screws, and I'll show you. So for my backup inventory, I've got a little bit of a siphon here for the ingots, and this guy's making rods and this guy's making screws. So it's 12.5 to 50, and the other recipe for screws, just so you know, normal screw is 1 rod, 10 rod to 40, but you have to turn iron into rods first. So it really starts to mess up. Whereas screws, 12.5 to 50 is great because a lot of the time with smelting, you're dealing with either 300, 150 or whatever. So if you look at 300 divided by 12.5, 24. Nice number. So we can get a lot of screws with a very easy number of constructors. No problem. It looks like you are extremely good at this game. I don't know about extremely good. I've put in a lot of hours. But thank you. We're getting there. The fun in these factories is decorating them to look like Transformers. This one is still in the process. We're trying to figure out where to put things first before we get really into the decoration. But yeah. So far, so good. So let's go plop down a manufacturer. Do I have what I need to build one of those? Oh, I already have one up here. Nice. This is making radio control units, but we could change that to this. Heavy modular frame. So we need to make... So this only makes 0.8 per minute. Oh, because it's at 40%. Hold on. 2 per minute. Per minute. That was the right recipe, right? 412, 480. $412, $480. Why does that? 100, 200. Oh, I was reading the wrong number. 10, 30, 10, 200. $10, yeah, okay. Well, that'll work out then, because if I bring up the spreadsheet, now you won't be able to see behind it, but I will. Oh, that's the wrong thing. So we could just create a new section. For example, this is all of the iron. That's the desert. So here's a bunch of iron and stuff that's just going to awesome sinks. Part siphon. West desert resources. Here's the awesome sink stuff, right? So we could potentially look at what we need for heavy modular frames and just say, like, you know, heavy modular frame factory. Is this big enough for people can see? If not, I can make it big. I can make it full screen. And let's just make it, I don't know, something real dark. So we know we need manufacturer. Damn, this is serious. Yeah, you got to think about things, because you don't. The worst thing is when you build like a factory of making stuff and then you don't make enough stuff. Like that's a problem. And we're just gonna do 8 to start, and it'll be making 2 heavy modular frames per minute. Right? 2 per minute. And so if we've got 8 of them, we're going to be making 16 per minute. Okay. So we've got, that's the number of machines and the output. And now all we have to do is figure out what we need as far as the 4 other components that have to go into that. And they were modular frame, steel pipe. And we're not making modular frames yet. So it's modular frame, steel pipe, encased steel beam, and screws. Uh, 10, 30, 10, 200. So 10, 30, 10, 200. Steel beams. Steel pipe. And modular frame. And so we need all of those things multiplied by 8. So 1,200 screws, 800 steel beams, 3, I don't know what that is, 3 times 8, 240 steel pipe, and then another 800 modular frame. So this is why I do this, is because now, when we go back to the game, we know that we need, if we need 8 machines. Oh wait, did I do this wrong? Maybe I'm doing 16 per minute. So I've got 8 machines. So this is the max. right? Because I think my idea was that I wanted 8 heavy modular frames, but it makes 2 per minute. So if we are looking at 8 manufacturers and we know those numbers, then we can look at an assembler, which is over here. It helps to have the machines kind of out and around so you can look at them. And so now we have to look at the first component, which is a modular frame, or an alternate. And we can do screws, or we can do plates and rods. 3 per minute, 12 per minute. Or... oh, it's reinforced plates? Yeah, reinforced plates. Oh, wow. So reinforced plates and screws, or reinforced plates and rods. 140 screws. Now, again, remember, 140 screws is not a problem because we've got that recipe. Yeah, not having that one thing you need when you need it is a tough sell in this game for sure. But the main thing we're looking at here is there's 5 modular frames per minute versus 2. So iron plates. I don't want to make alternate plates. Let's do constructor. Three to 2, so we get slightly less. And then iron rods. Oh no, wait a minute. I'm looking at the wrong thing. Reinforced iron plates. And then reinforced iron plates. We've got 3 recipes. Plates and screws, plates and cable, and plates and rubber. Alright, well, we've got 2 useful. We're currently doing this. We're currently making stitched iron plate. And we can make a lot more of that. So I feel like that might be a good way to go. So we'll do stitched iron plates. Some of that is put into crystal oscillators, but we'll have to see how much of that crystal oscillator factory we actually keep. We might repurpose that for the modular frames. So we're doing stitched iron plates. And then we just need screws. Or rods. What do rods do for steel? Is it half? Or sorry, iron. No, it's 1-to-1. So 1-to-1, 15 iron ingots to 15 rods. So this is where I'm trying to figure out if it's cheaper, right? So if it's, we need 12 iron ingots to get 12 rods. But if we only need screws, we need 140 screws per minute. And our current cool. So if I wanted to get this to, what did I say? 140? 140. We can just get this to 140. Can't quite get it to 140. But it ends up being what's a good way to do this? 100 is usually an easy number. So it's 1 to 4 on the way out. So 1 to... so yeah, so it's cheaper because we only need 140. I think it's cheaper to do the screws. Does that make sense? Yeah. Well, there's my numbers right there, 5 and 20. What am I'm being silly. So it's 1 in to 5 out. And this is, rods are 1 in, 1 out. It's just a matter of whether the 12 rods, so that's 12 ingots. I just need to figure out how much the screws are. So 140 divided by 4. Is 35. So it would take 35 screws. So what if we did 17 and a half? Oh, that's rods. I want the screws. $4.375 per minute. That doesn't make any sense. I mean, I know it's right, but not giving me the numbers that I want. Basically, I'm just trying to figure out how much it would cost for 140 screws, which I can't do because it's more than 250%. Well, it would cost, let's just do it this way. It would cost 31.25 per minute to not quite get there. So it would cost 12 to, yeah, so it's cheaper to do rods. Okay. Decision made. So if we're going to do the original recipe for modular frames, which is just reinforced plates and rods, we know that we need the right amount of modular frames to get into here. So we need 10 per minute times 8 machines. I think I did the math wrong. So we got, it's 80. 8 machines, 10 modular frames per minute. So if we have a assemblers doing modular frames, and so we need this to be 80. That means that we need 40. Yeah, see, this is where things get spooky. Right? This is where things start to get crazy. That means I need 40 assemblers, each making 2 per minute to get up to my 80. Right? So copy these over here. So these are the manufacturers here. I'll put this up at the top. It's mad but fun. Yeah, there's definitely a feeling of accomplishment when you nail it, right? So 40 assemblers doing modular frames will push out let's just grab this. So that's 80 modular frames going into the manufacturer. So now we just have to figure out the 2 things that are going into the assembler, right? Which are your stitched, what are they called? Stitched iron plates. and rods. I think that's how I had that. It is reinforced. We're making stitched. We've got an alternate recipe, but it's rods and modular frames. So if we've got 40, it's 12 times 40. Which is 480. 480 rods per minute. And then the stitched iron plates is 3 times 40 is 120. That I can do in my head. Confidently. So I'll just pop this back up again, and you can see we've got... Oh. Right. So then you just backtrack, and you see, okay... stitched iron plates and rods. Rods are coming straight from a constructor. So you've got constructor, and they're making rods, and a constructor, it's a 1-to-1, but they only need 15. It just means that you need a lot of constructors. So where's my little constructor? Did I delete it? I deleted it. Constructor. We're gonna make rods the old-fashioned way, and they take 15 and they make 15. So that's easy. And there's just a 1-to-1. So if we again look at the constructors, they make 15. We need 480. So then it's just 480 divided by 15. $32. By the way, just so for context, the quartz factory that we were in at the start of this of the stream, that has 40 constructors in it. So 32 constructors is not terrible. So it's 15 iron ingots per minute and 15 rods. Iron rods, I guess I should say. Iron rods per minute. And so that will push out the right number of things. Oops, I hit the wrong hotkey. Did I just delete something? Yeah. There we go. I was like, what? So then all we need to do is go backtrack for each of these things and make sure that we can hook up enough iron, because we have all of this iron already going. Like, this is already in the factory. It's just going into an awesome sink. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4. I've got 2,400 iron. And for this, we need 320, I think. No, it's 1-to-1, so we need 480. Right, so 480 needs to go in here. We've already got that. And then stitched plates. We'll have to make more plates, I think. Because I think the 600 plates I'm using right now are going into crystal oscillators. But essentially we need to find a spot where we can do all of this, right? The heavy lifting on it. So assemblers for modular frames, stitched iron plates we're doing. So I just need to figure out what I need to do for assemblers, and then we're good. Stitched iron plates. Oh, this should be wire and plates. So we'll just check the recipe in the assembler. Nope, not steel. Stitched iron plate. So iron plate and wire. 5.625 per minute. That is rough. So minimum, maybe we'll just do 5. But that messes things up here. Although this is not, that's not too bad. They give you the alt recipes, they make you pay for it. There we go. 3 per minute. So if we do 53%, that's pretty good. So 3 reinforced plates per minute, and we need 120. So again, it's 40 assemblers. And then it's just a matter of looking at the 10 and 20. So it's 400 and 800. Right? So here's usually where I just end up grabbing this kind of thing and just bumping it down. Oh, maybe a little bit further. So assemblers were 40, and we would need we'd need wire and plates. And it was easy numbers. 10 plates per minute. Times 40 is 400. And then 40 times 20 is 800. Oops. And then to get 800 wire and 400 plates, we just have to do the math of those constructors. Easy stuff to do at night in the game because you can't. It's hard to see doing anything else. I don't have iron plate alternate recipes, I don't think, unless they're in the assemblers. Plastic I don't want to do. Steel I don't want to do. We'll just do the regular iron plates. So they're 20 per minute. So then we're right down to 20, I guess. Yep. So did I do the math on that wrong? I need 20 iron plates per minute. Or I can make 20 iron plates per minute. I need 400. Because $40 times 20 is 800, and 40 times 10 is 400. So yeah, I need 400 plates. I can make 20 per minute. So then it's just a matter of doing, oops, 400 divided by 20 is 20. So we only need 20 constructors making plates. So the way that I find to do this is definitely to go backwards. Like you find out what you want to build and then you backtrack to the earliest legs. And then we do wire. And wire, do we have alternates for wire? Don't think so. I guess the codex would tell us too. Straight up. We double, so that's going to be actually quite easy. 30 wire per minute. 30 wire per minute. And we needed, what did we need? 800. So then it'll just be 800 divided by 30. 26 point something something something. So we can do, I can do that later. 26.6 repeating, and I can work out whether we underclock them or we can do that later. So that will be constructors doing wire. This will be constructors doing plates. That age-old number of 26 something something something. Yeah, right. Specifics. But basically, again, we have rods here. So if I take this and drag it across, right? And then we have that coming up there, and we'll pull from the copper up there. So we've got the iron to start all of this, which is cool. It's nice to have that part started. But 20 constructors, we should go look and see what that looks like. So down here is where we have all of our iron currently coming into the factory. We can get more, but this is where all the iron comes in. Currently, this bottom floor is actually making 600 plates a minute and sending them out the top there. I'm going to switch to my hover pack so we can see easier. So there's our plates. They're currently stalled because we're at a standstill over there. But this is 40 constructors. So we would only need about half of these to do the other plates that we need. And we have all of this iron up here. All of this is just being destroyed right now. So we have an entire other floor that we can do our next plates on for our construction, for our heavy modular frames. So the idea for me is going to be to it looks like I'm probably going to want to leave this open doing other things. There's no more iron down here to be used, so we could use this for something else. Right now up here it would make the most sense to have all of these smelters, instead of spitting out into awesome sinks, we could use a new constructor floor here. And I think I'm going to be smart about this and try to install a logistics floor. I might try to lower the ceiling by a little bit and see if we can't do a little bit of belt management. Because I did not do that. This is an older build. This is an older section of the build. I am a more experienced builder now, and I know where I have shot myself in the foot before. So we're going to try not to do that. Anyway, over here we'll do the constructors. They will make the plates and the rods. And the rods and plates will go out to the main bus, go down the main bus, and then they'll go over there to the factory. Is that blue? I didn't know they could be blue. Is that a new color? Weird. Anyway, we have, over there actually is a good place to point out. We've got all those assemblers that I just talked about. I've got them all set up already, doing other things. I just don't know if I was going to be... I don't know why I have so many crystal oscillators set up upstairs. So right now we're doing stitched plates. There's the wire. There's the plates. They're coming in here. Right? And so they're all going upstairs. And that's how the crystal oscillators are being made. They're being combined with all of this. But I'm only using these 4 machines right now. So I could just repurpose. Like there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there's 8 machines right there. Like I could take these last 4. I could take these first 4. So we could use this to make the heavy modular frames if we wanted to. We also have the stitched plates. We're only making 6. And I've got, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 40 assemblers are already here. And what did I say we needed? 40 assemblers. Making stitched iron plates. So I think what I'm going to do is this is going to stop being a crystal oscillator factory, and we're going to turn it into the heavy modular frame factory. Because we've got, like, this is being made in the copper wing. These we can make in the iron wing. These we're making right where I'm hovering right now. And then they can go up to modular frames. So we'll have to go to modular frames before we go to assemblers. But that's fine. We can do that down here. We can do that, you know, on the next floor up. And then the constructors and rods, we'll bring the rods down. And that'll go into the modular frames as well. So all of that just for one ingredient in the heavy modular frames. So you can see why the heavy modular frames are a pain in the butt. An absolute pain in the butt. But a rewarding pain in the butt. We also have just absolutely oodles of space. Like we are not hurting at all for space. So we can expand and make things look cool and do whatever. I'm not going to rebuild anything. Some of these machines are not exactly how I would lay them out. I might change the paths and things to look more modern, but I'm not moving the machines. I feel like I can puzzle it out and make do with what we have. There's also room down here if we needed to go underneath things. We have a little bit of wiggle room in different locations. So quite happy with the fact that all these machines are already set up and belted. Like that's a lot of work I don't have to do. Past Joel, high five. So I guess the next thing is going to be to look at the copper. I hope this is all right in terms of how number heavy this stream is, but like you always have to do this kind of thing before you can really start building and going forward. So we've got, I believe all of this is being used upstairs. So 150 copper sheets, 150 wire. That's being made into cable. 300 minute 2 copper wire. 300 minute 2 copper wire. That's going upstairs. It really helps to be organized and have notes to yourself. So again, lots of room here. 150 minute, 150 per minute, and 150 per minute. Currently, half speed. These are just going to storage. Okay. So those can be repurposed. 300 wire per minute to cable. Oh, that's being... Right. So that's being made into cable. That's what that is. And this is 1200 minute 2 stitched plates. So this is already being done for stitched plates. So the spreadsheet that I would need it for is 800 wire per minute. I'm already doing 1200. So we're laughing. Yep. I may actually have to... Oop. I may have to... well, I guess we'll just make the 1200 and then we'll just kind of do whatever we can with the others. So that's all going out that way. I'm sure there will be something else we need reinforced iron plates for. So... Again, the wiki is usually quite good for that. So if we look at reinforced iron plates, reinforced iron plate. So scroll down to... Right, so we need them for crystal oscillators. We need them for, we're using them for those. We've already done that part. We need them for these. Assembler. Yeah, so having some extra for crystal oscillators is just gravy, right? So that's great. Awesome. So that's the wire taken care of. Like, that's already happening. Because... one of these south aluminum wing. No, that's copper for aluminum. I want the copper that's happening. That's it here. So this will get changed. That will get changed. So that's perfect. I like it when a plan comes together. So really it's the 20 constructors for more plates. Oh no, wait a minute. We're using... This 600 is going to be repurposed. So what did we need? 400 plates, and we're already doing 600. So we're already good. Like, we're already ready to make all these. Yeah, so this section... to here is, it just needs to be like slightly reorganized and everything needs to be turned on. Sweet. No complaints. I'm really enjoying this. This is a stage in Satisfactory I will never get to, says Cosmic. So it's good to watch someone who is really good, has a really good grasp of the game, work through this. Thanks. The trick is to work backwards. The trick is to, like, look at what you need to build, realize it's going to take you 300 hours if you do one at a time, and then just, like, get yourself to a number that you're comfortable with that is going to be a challenge. You know, like, you could just do it. You could easily just do one at a time and wait the 3,000 hours, you know, but who wants to do that? All right, so we need to start to hook up some of these. And again, I don't want to reposition the machines. However, we have not done any belt work down here, which gives us an opportunity to do new belt work, which could be fun. On the output, the input's staying where it is, because the input is very much tied to up here. This is the kind of thing where I'll probably put floor holes in, rather than a gap. Although sometimes that can look cool. We'll have to see. Everything is hooked up to power in a gross way. We might want to do the opposite. Or are these set back? Or are they the same? No, yeah, they're definitely set back. Okay. So we can't really power it that way. Well, we could. Hold on. Where's the one that doesn't have a power connection? So if I disconnect this power connection and I grab power for you, and I just line you right up with that. That was a pretty good guess. That is a lot cleaner than sending it straight up to the ceiling. So we might do that, which means that this would be a little bit easier. We'll do the ceiling down here. And we could also do like a drop ceiling. That can be sometimes fun too. So we could like drop the ceiling down to hide all the ugly... Well, no, I guess this is the past Joel problem, is that I never give myself enough headroom. So we may have to deal with that. I mean, all the wires sticking straight up. It's not the end of the world. My beef is that these are never straight. Like, there's never a really straight line. It's always off by a little bit. That's always tricky. So it looks like the plan was to have these all go out like that. I wonder how on earth I was going to bring these up. I guess it was probably going to be another belt. But where would it go? It goes out there. And just goes around the corner. And there is cable. So I was obviously not thinking too far ahead, because I need to have another section here. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So there are 40 here, and that's what we need. What are their outputs? .5 per minute. Is 180, right? So we're making more than the 120. Oh, they're underclocked too. I could bring them back to normal speed. I don't remember why they're underclocked. Oh, because of gross math. Right. Yeah, I think I just did this until I hit a number that made everything nice and tidy. Okay, so I'll have to remember that. I wonder why that didn't factor into my math that I just did. Right? I'll do... Let's do this. And what percentage was that? It was 80%. It takes a long time to do all the spreadsheet stuff, but man, it is so worth it in the end. Especially when you have to go back and remember stuff. So we're doing 180. We could even underclock them farther if we wanted to. But it's good to have a little bit of excess. So what we'll do is figure out where the extras are going. So 180 is coming out of all of these. So then these are only Mark 1s. So then half of it is 90. So we only really need Mark 2 belts. So we could fit it all in one belt. So really, this one exit is fine. Because at max, we're doing 180 in this whole room. So it's just a matter of figuring out how to connect. There'd be another merger here. We'd have to have another merger here for everything. Yeah, that would be straightforward. That would totally work. Just for clarity, what they would look like this. We'd have this come up here like that. We'd have this come up here like this. You would have another merger in the middle. And it would be output that way. And so this would connect to that. These would connect to that. And then we would just move this to the front here. And that's where we would have our out going up overhead. Very cool. Okay. So then it's just a matter of whether we want... I guess I wanted a pathway down here. I could start like hiding some of this underneath here if I wanted to. Oh, that's creepy and gross. But we don't have the whole distance. I feel like this might be our bottom for this particular situation. Stream's at 2 hours. Thanks, Cosmic. All right, well, let's, I'll just take a little bit of extra time here and put some of this stuff in. So y'all can see what I'm doing. I think that makes sense. I feel like I should change the default palette so I don't have to paint as much. We're making... How does this look? Looks white, not gray. Yeah, let's go with that. Standard vehicles, fixed foundations, pipes, coded conscience. So we'll go standard. Does that come out the right color? It does. So unfortunately we can't do the whole logistics floor because like there's stuff right here. So all of these just need some belts. And then we'll use the heavier belts all the way along. These are 4.5 per minute. So every 2 we're making 9. That's 9. That's 18. 27. What's that, 36? And then 45? Yeah. So we'll fix this. And I wonder... I feel like this would be better with a floor hole. Oh, didn't see where it was. Should go straight up, I guess. Not quite the middle. Well, those are in the middle, so this should be in the middle. Yeah. So 45, we're still under the main normal belt. I think what I'll do is I'll put it that way. I think that's pretty cool. And now that they're all hooked up to belts, they're all making stuff and sending it along. And then, as I said, we're just going to do a little creative stuff up here. I feel like that's at the right level of everything. Yeah. So to keep things up off the floor, do the same thing. And then this needs to be a regular 45 belt. Nice and straight. And we'll do the same thing over here. Oh, does this not have a weird... Oh, that has a weird location. Oh, right. I guess I was overlapping foundations in some places. Interesting. It might be worth it not to have the floor hole, but we'll keep it for now. Why does that line up? Oh, I obviously did the the offset floor thing there. Huh. I think I can just go across. Nope. I have to find the other one. There we go. I don't know why I thought that was a good idea, but we'll fix it. We'll fix it later. Maybe we'll make them a different texture. That is going to go out to there. That is not the same distance, because I did it wrong. I love the fact that you can change the colors of your default building. Saves so much time later. Alright, so that's hooked up, so now we just have to do the same thing down here. Oh, did I point those the right way? Somewhere it got turned. Crap. My bad. I want it going that way. And those are all going the right way. Yep. I don't know why I've decided to start painting the machines like the same color as the thing that they're making. I just feel like it might help us later on, you know, get just be aware of what's being made at a glance. I'm gonna need to put some signs and production numbers down too. The spreadsheet is nice, but it's also nice to have them on signs in game so that you can totally just like look at the wall and see what's happening, you know? Alright, so that is all producing stuff. Now we have the advantage of everything being backed up. So everything is full. So they're going to be producing at 100% like right off the bat, which is very cool. So now we just do the same trick we did here with the upside down. And that is all good. So now we've got everything merging all up to there. And so we just need to remove this, put this in here, and then fix this. Now our total is 180, so that means we have to have more. So this is 45, I said, and 45. So that's 90 coming in, but then there's another 90 coming here. So this is 180. So this has to be a Mark III. And this has to be a Mark III. And then we'll just do the Mark III all the way along. Is there a little belt in there? This is always tricky. Mark III. Mark III. Sometimes I do the Mark IVs just because they look better, but I'll do the Mark IIIs for now. I don't like the look of the Mark III. I much prefer the Mark IV. I feel like we can probably just hook up the rest of these. This should not be all that challenging. All we have to do is just bring up a platform to the right level. And I guess if I had wanted to, I could have put this all up at the ceiling. But that's kind of cool. That look down here. I think that's kind of neat. And that way we can put lights and stuff up there if we need to. Or something I like to do is often I'll have like an open floor sometimes if it works out, but it doesn't look like that's really going to happen there. So we will do, I can't remember how many foundations it was. It was that many. These should all be, yeah, so it's one on the seam and then one in the middle. Thanks, Cosmic. Yeah, I think I'm just going to finish up this design and then we should be able to call it a day. I will, of course, pass you on to someone playing Satisfactory if we have someone live. If not, I can always send you on along to somebody playing Minecraft or something similar. So Cosmic, actually, if you want to put in some raids into if you've done it already in mod chat and Discord, that's cool. I'll just check in a second. I'm excited to finally have big rooms in this factory starting to be filled in with stuff. Yeah, raid suggestions are in Discord. Perfect. Thank you. I thought we were losing the light again, but it's just I'm just underneath so much concrete. Now this is a little bit different because instead of 2 lanes, we've got 1. So this is going to be every 2 machines, we're looking at 9. So if I grab the conveyor lift again, thankfully I spaced these out very well. Oops. Misclick on that one. Wow, that's weird. Only half of them went gray. Okay, so all we need to do now is just double check where we need to have the belt increase its speed. So we've got 9 as 4.5, right? 4.5, 4.5. So 9, 18, 27, 36, 45, 56, and then this is where we go to Mark 2. And that should be good because the max is 90 until it hits to here, and then we hit the Mark 3. Excellent. It could be fun to keep the walls kind of green in some of these places and then change the machines to be like whatever the things are producing. So the contrast between the green and the various colors could be very cool for like the 80s Transformers kind of vibe. I might like go ahead and like color these more like what they're actually bringing in. So it could be kind of fun to grab like this kind of a swatch and do like all the copper belts that way. That's weird that that one won't do it. Right? So you have like the copper belt itself could be like that. And then this one would be like a light gray. I think that looks kind of cool. I mean, I would do it the whole way. Not that you're going to see it without enough lights on in here, but there's that. Yeah, I think the only thing that I find kind of boring about this place is the way that it's brought in. I might want to change that. Maybe we'll bring it in along the wall and have them like come out here or something, because I think I've got a cavity wall. Yes. Yeah, so if I wanted to... Oh, why am I stuck? Yeah, so we could do something nicer than just this weird straight line of stuff. We could bring them into the walls and not have them outside the building. Bringing them in. I like seeing them here. I like the idea of seeing them under the glass. This makes sense. So then we can just kind of like route them wherever. But this is the main input for both upstairs and downstairs. I'm not sure if that was clear. So these machines pull from the left, but then the downstairs machines pull from the right. And they get them that way. So, but that is actually the first leg of that that spreadsheet kind of sorted, right? So we've got 40 assemblers at 4.5 per minute. So let's bring up the this is like the version of the checklist. 40 assemblers at 80%. 4.5 stitched iron plates per minute. That's not making 120, that's making 180. And so what I would likely do here is again bump this farther down. And then we would have the number that we needed, which I think was 120. And then all I do is just say we've got another 60 going somewhere else. So I might want to do maybe a slightly different color or shade for rods just to kind of make sure we're easy to read. And so these would just continue because this, as far as I know, is what the assemblers need. .40 assemblers, modular frames. So those will have to go somewhere else. So we might have to change those things upstairs. So the only thing that's happening is that this is the manufacturer. So manufacturer. Whoops. And so we need to insert the 40 assemblers. We've done these ones, but we need another 40. So we need another room similar to this, taking all these iron plates. We could very easily just do another room like this right next door if I wanted to copy it, which I might not want to do. The other option would be upstairs. How do I get upstairs? Would be upstairs. Would be... Stop it. Oh, the slidey... This thing is really finicky. I just want to go up the ladder. So we could also do a new way of doing assemblers over here. And we could then belt in things coming down the other way. It would be a pain to reroute all this, so we'd probably keep it going the way that it's going, and then kind of maybe wrap it around some way. Generally speaking, I try to have all the inputs and outputs on the floor going the same direction, like floor to floor, but I have not done that here. So there's still a few logistic things to figure out, but we'll absolutely get there. Absolutely get there. All right. So for folks that have been here all afternoon, thank you ever so much. It was a wonderful weekend of streaming and hanging out. Hope you are all enjoying your Sunday. I'm going to be recording a new episode of the Spawn Chunks tomorrow with Pixarus. That's the podcast I do all about Minecraft. I do, of course, play Minecraft quite regularly. If you're just here watching the Satisfactory stream, then check out the rest of my content. You can do that at Joel Duggan VODs on YouTube. I don't do any edited videos. They're all just stream VOD archives. But you can fast forward to those if you want. Get to the good parts, or get to the math. It all depends on what is of your interest. Bit of a slower stream today, just because of the data we had to comb through. But I think we've got a situation where I know what I have to do, and it's just a matter of executing the smaller segments of the plan. Very similar to building a city in Minecraft. Like, you just look at the overall build, but then you think like, okay, well, how do I do this house? And you just kind of do each step along the way. Joel Duggan on Twitter, joelduggan.com for links to all the podcasting and other things that I do, and Joel Duggan on Patreon if you'd like to support and join the Discord. I'm looking at doing some Satisfactory related downloads on the Discord, so if you do want to join the community, there will hopefully be some perks in there soon. Outside of the Minecraft server, we were tossing around the idea on Friday of bringing back the Satisfactory server. If there's enough interest from the community, then I would be happy to look into that. And yeah, that's going to be it for me today. Thanks ever so much for hanging out, folks. We're going to pass you along to BLAndrew575, who has a monster save in Satisfactory. Is probably working on something absolutely enormous. I'm sure you will enjoy your time. I have to run. Give BL Andrew my best. I will talk to you all on Tuesday. Bye for now. Have a good weekend.